Hello, and welcome back to the next part of White Album 2's extra episode. This occurs after Kazusa normal. Haruki is deep in his depression. Setsuna is now deeply depressed because she was rejected by Haruki because she was breaking down and now can barely leave her own house. Kazusa is trying to fulfill her mother's dying wish of playing a concerto with a group of people in an orchestra, and nothing's going well. Now Setsuna and Kazusa are in a horrible phone call together where they finally just started talking about Haruki, which is going to obviously be a disaster, so let's continue from there. I didn't really understand what I was screaming right now. I'm sorry. You entrusted him to me. You turned him over to me, and now I might not be able to protect him. Why? But I did know this much. If I didn't do this now, she would disappear again. Setsuna's just screaming over the phones, poor girl. Although, they both deserve a little scream. Why is this happening? The goddess who could save Haruki-kun. The guide who would show me the way. Do you understand? Do you really understand what you've done, Setsuna? I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me, Kazusa. Do you know how much I cried? Do you know how ripped apart I was when I gave up on him? I know. But all of that was because I believed that you, Setsuna, you were the only one who could save him. I'm sorry, but I've been hurting too. It's hurting me so badly. What, so you're giving up? You're abandoning him? And this is a dumb argument, because obviously Kazusa's upset, but he is begging her to leave him. And she doesn't understand how much this is hurting Setsuna too. But you're the one who gave up in the first place. You let go of him. I don't want to hear that from you. You were the one who took him at the beginning of this whole damn thing. You stole Haruki from me. What the hell? What now? What am I supposed to do now, Kazusa? Help me. You have to help me. I knew the woman was selfish, but oh my god. This is the dumbest argument. I hate catfights. And they have no sympathy for the other person having to deal with Haruki at this point in this route. And that is so frustrating. Kazusa should understand how much pain and ridiculousness this is putting on Setsuna. And Setsuna should realize that, it wasn't easy for Kazusa to give up Haruki, but she did it for her and for him. So don't act like some kind of tragic heroine and ignore everything that's inconvenient for you. I'm the one who needs you to help me. What are you talking about? You're the one who's making it big over in Europe. I was genuinely pissed off. No, I'm in hell here. My mom is... I had the life and death of someone I loved on my back, and I was struggling to deal with it. And here she was telling me she couldn't support the one man I had ever loved. And Setsuna's gonna bawl again. Why the hell are you crying? This has nothing to do with you. But your mom, That's right, my mom, not yours. What are you going to do? What are you doing? That's so horrible. Why aren't you with her right now? Mom told me she wanted to hear this. She wants to hear me play this concerto. But still, what if you end up regretting this for the rest of your life? I'm gonna regret it for the rest of my life if I don't play this for her. I can only have one thing. This is what I've always wanted. You mean? All of this is because of you. I don't know that. I can't take all that responsibility. Haruki-kun is all I have. You are taking that responsibility then. You won't give up on Haruki. Of course I won't. So you have to keep protecting your mom. That's not what you just said, though. You were on the verge of giving up on him. This is dumb. Obviously, I think Kazusa should be there for her mom. But why should Setsuna have to be there for Haruki? Like, Kazusa's like, oh, I gave him to you. I was so gracious. I was so kind in giving him back. Nuh-uh. You gave him back because he was breaking down being with you. It had nothing to do with Setsuna. It really didn't. It's because Haruki, if Haruki hadn't been breaking down, she never would have gave him up. Truly and honestly, I do believe that. So I don't think she should be acting all high and mighty about it. Personal opinion. I didn't say that. I had never said anything like that. No, you absolutely did. 5 minutes ago you said it. You don't have any proof of that. You liar, coward, thief. Give him back. Give Haruki back to me. This isn't the time to talk about that. Why? Why do we have to end up like this? And they're both going to start crying because why not? Why wouldn't they start crying? These two hopeless women. Self-justifying, unreasonable lashing out, pretending not to hear, wailing, shifting responsibility, playing the tragic heroine. The two of us. We were both making free use of every single method that was the most hated in girl fights. Give him back. No. Give him back. No. You don't see how pitiful I am? How can you not sympathize? How cold can you be? I don't care what you say. I've got a concert coming up, and my mom, I'm in 100 times more pain than you are. I'll do anything else. Call me, and I'll come to Paris or to Vienna and look after her. I'm not calling you. But I'm not giving him back. I'm reclaiming Haruki-kun. Really? You think you can do that? I will. Even if we break up, even if he drops me, and even if he goes back to you, I'm going to make him the old Haruki Kitahara again. The old Haruki? Serious, hardworking, preachy, a liar, a traitor, a cold-hearted, the one who always loved a girl who wasn't me. But it's my natural right as a woman to save the man I love. And what about my own right? Whatever desperate measure it takes, even if it means prostrating myself before my rival in love, I will accomplish this. Ignoring me again. I'll say it again. I'll do anything else, but I won't hand him over. That's up to Haruki. For once she values Haruki's opinion. Even if he's easily stolen away, even if he just drops me without a second thought, I won't hand him over. Jesus Christ. Fuck. It's funny to hear Kazusa say Jesus Christ. I already knew how stubborn she was, but she was proving it again. Truly strong. This is so dumb. Setsuna is so blindly in love with Haruki. I mean, Kazusa too, but to the point where you have to be like, even if he leaves me, even if he cheats on me, no matter what, I'm still gonna make him mine. Have some self-respect, for the love of God. These two, honestly, so frustrating. I only wish I could be like that. I'm hanging up for real now. That was a pretty long call. What time is it there? Don't know, but it's starting to get light out. So like 4 or 5 in the morning. This is ridiculous. I feel like I'm in middle school. Yeah. In love with love. Crying over the boy we liked. Like a pair of best friends in middle school. I don't think I'll call again. Okay. It was our final, best, worst fight. There weren't any regrets left between me and Setsuna. So I couldn't hold her back anymore either, like I always did. We would never look up at the same sky again. I mean, I guess it's good to tie up loose ends and to finally have that conversation because it's been a long time coming. But truly, I think they need to get different friends. I think they really need to get friends that are outside of this love triangle because there's just so much drama and baggage that comes along with it. I don't repent any of this. I won't let anybody say a word about us. Yeah, the decisions we made are ours alone. I'm not unhappy. I do have regrets, but I won't take any of it back. You can do it. Keep it up, Kazusa. Keep it up. Don't tell me to keep it up. I'll end up pushing myself too far and collapsing. Then enjoy yourself. Slack off, play around, and become the best pianist this world has ever seen. I don't need you to tell me that. Of course I will. I'll be something you two could never reach. Yeah. And feel free to regret breaking off your friendship with me for the rest of your life. Kazusa. Serves you right. Goodbye. This was our finale. Oh, man. I'm glad that they talked, though. I think them having this conversation is going to give them a little bit more security in their own lives. It nixes some of the question marks that they had in their mind. And the more question marks and the more unknowns they have to them, the more scared they are of moving on. Maybe. That's what I like to think. Good morning. Oh, you're awfully early to... Setsuna? Huh? What? What's wrong, Mom? Your eyes are red. Yeah, I got into a big fight last night. A fight? Don't tell me it was with Kitahara-san. Nope, with a friend of mine. We were arguing over the phone until morning. I see. I'm starving. Do you mind if I just make something for myself? Go ahead. Let's see, what do I want? Bok choy, Vienna sausage, and, oh, can I open up a can of tuna? Seriously, what's wrong? Oh, nothing. They're cute. Even though Setsuna looks bad right now, her mom can tell the little boost in energy that she has, her willingness and want to eat, to be downstairs, especially with her mother there. This is a crazy huge improvement in 24 hours. And talking to Kazusa is what did that. Are my eyes really that swollen? Oh boy. Well, it's just because I stayed up all night. So it really isn't anything, I guess. Alrighty, I'll make an omelet then. Sorry, Mom, if you don't have anything else to do, could you scramble the eggs for me? Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Then one other thing. Hey, Mom? Oh, how many eggs? Sorry, I've got a lot going on. 3, I think. 3-egg omelet's pretty good. Like, as far as having an appetite. You're apologizing, what, for your health? But that's out of your control. No, I mean, what I'm about to do. I thought I would apologize in advance. What you're about to do? Yes. This is very difficult to say. But your daughter, Setsuna Ogiso, as of this hour on this date, is going to return to her unreasonable, self-indulgent self. Setsuna? The fact is, I love Haruki-kun. I loved him then, I love him now, and I love him in the future. I want to walk through life with him. The rest of my life, if possible. As of today, I'm going back to being a commuting girlfriend. I'll be away all weekend again. Sorry about that. You're not saying anything. Is that your way of saying okay? Oy vey. All I can say is oy vey. All I can do is sigh. If I were her mom, I would be so disappointed. Like, yes, I'm happy to see my daughter in good spirits again, but holy crap. I want so much better for her. I want her to be with a guy who doesn't cheat on her. I want her to be with a guy that can get his crap together. Like, what a disappointing son-in-law. Future son-in-law, whatever he is. Just jeez, I'm crow. I can't decide that on my own. You'll need to get your father's approval first. Well, I'm tired of staying up all night, so I'll leave that to you. I'm going to be leaving before Dad gets up. That makes it even less likely that he'll approve. Well, then I'll leave the house altogether and crash at his apartment. Actually, I feel like that might be better for his recovery. You're awfully confident. Just the other day you were crying because of how hard it was to leave. If I just lived there from the start, I wouldn't have to go out at all. Why didn't it occur to me before? It's so simple. Silly me. Setsuna. Now, I think that's about all I'll need. I'll just pack this into a lunchbox. That wasn't for your breakfast? It was... We'll eat it together at his place. Mom, listen, Take care of Kitahara-san. I will. Oy. Like, Setsuna's mom is so kind. And she does obviously want what's best for Haruki. And she doesn't know the whole story behind what happened. And she likely never will. But she knows enough to be like, he's probably not the best thing for her. You know what I mean? It's just, come on. Sorry to make you worry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. I know you're going to keep worrying about me. I'm all right. I've made up my mind. I'm going to spend the rest of my life fighting by his side. I had spent so much time feeling impatient. I wanted Haruki-kun to get back to his old self as soon as possible. The serious, determined, cool working man. The wonderful man who loved me. But really, he didn't have to go back completely. I could spend the rest of my life healing him slowly. I could spend the rest of my life getting him to turn around. Slowly. Doesn't that sound like a fun life? Constantly being with a broken person. Which is not to say anything of like, you know, people who are actually suffer from depression, people who actually suffer from anxiety. That's not what I mean at all. Haruki just suffers from the consequences of his own horrible decisions. And that's where the big difference is. A full recovery could come at our dying moment. I could be pulled in myself along the way. Well, that might not be completely ideal. The point was, we could fight together at our own pace. We could love each other at our own pace. Sometimes with no resistance, sometimes gingerly, without getting angry, without getting impatient, without sadness. We could live like that, calmly. I would tell him that and push my way into his life again. And so, sorry to make you worry, Dad. Sorry, Mom. I know you're going to keep worrying about me. I would love that unfaithful man. No. The man who was deeply faithful to a woman other than me. From now on, forever. Oh my God. How can you even say that sentence with a straight face? Like, that is so pathetic and she deserves so much better. But she just made up her mind that, like, this is the only guy in the world for me. This is the only fish in the sea. I have to be with him. It's so stupid. I'm back. Sorry, I know I haven't been by in forever. My summer fatigue wound up lasting a little bit longer than I expected it to. Oh, but I'm already all better, so I'm here to get you to cancel my ban from entering. Haruki-kun? Haruki-kun? If you left the apartment building, passed by Minami Suetsugu Station, passed by the gates to Hojo University and the attached high school, you would end up at a riverbank. If you threw yourself down on the grass there, your nose would be met with a strong scent. The weeds seemed to have maintained their summertime tenacity. It was a lovely river, considering its metropolitan location with lots of vegetation around, so that the winds blew through in the morning were very refreshing. That moderate sunlight, the moderate breeze, and the moderate melody of the wind and water together. If you lay down in a pleasant place like this, it was natural to find yourself possessed by drowsiness before 5 minutes had passed. And, to me, the magical power of the whole thing was almost too strong. But, through the filter of drowsiness over my sense of hearing, I caught the sound of footsteps that were somehow familiar. Oh yeah, you can definitely tell Haruki's footsteps apart from other people's footsteps. Well, no. Since I was accustomed to stepping hard on asphalt, the familiarity might just have been a simple assumption. Found you, Haruki-kun. Of course you found me. I left a note saying where I was. But it turned out my assumption was correctly rewarded, and standing before me was someone I had been longing to see. I was a bit surprised when you weren't in your apartment, though. This place is close to the high school, right? Takaya used to skip class and nap here. Of course, I would always come and wake him up later. But in order to hide the fact that I had been waiting so eagerly, I deliberately sidestepped her questions. Do you come here a lot? Almost every day lately. So you can go out now. I'm still not great with crowds, but this place is comfortable. Almost every day since the start of September, from morning to evening. I left early, walked slowly through town, and rested by this riverbank, taking in the sunlight and the wind. Sometimes it would start raining, and I would hurriedly move under the bridge, gazing at the flow of the river, listening to the insects, smelling the grass. In this way, I came back into contact with the world. And what's interesting here now is we're finally seeing things from Haruki's perspective. Because before this, we had just been switching back and forth between Kazusa and Setsuna's perspective, with a little bit of Io, Takaya, and Tomo sprinkled in, but we have yet to see Haruki. And the symbolism of this, my opinion, is kind of that Haruki's brain is so muddled. His thoughts are so muddled, he doesn't have room to show us who he is, right? We can't get inside of his head because he's not even inside of his own head. He is so mentally overwhelmed. But now that he's kind of healed a little bit, we have room to kind of see where he's coming from. We have room to be inside of Haruki's head with him, which is an interesting development. How? How what? How were you able to do this again so suddenly? Well, it wasn't really sudden. I've been going out for little bits at a time since a while ago. Even though you were alone? Even without me there with you? I'd been wondering where that slightly grim air in her tone was coming from. The reason that she couldn't quite feel satisfied. Well, if I had to say, it was a matter of time. Time? The doctor told me I had to do this kind of thing with the intention of keeping it up for a long time. I was just following that. Time. What is it, Setsuna? Then that means... And obviously, you as a girlfriend, Setsuna as a girlfriend, cannot heal all wounds by yourself. You can't. That's not how life works. But as time moves on, the pain dulls. It never goes away. but it dulls. And that's what Haruki needed. He just needed some time to get over it. And being with Setsuna was kind of freezing that time, because it kept bringing up old wounds over and over again. Everything I've been doing was completely pointless? No, it's not that. But I guess it's just that not all of it was by your own power. Of course. You were only able to recover like this while I wasn't around. Well, I'm aware that this is going to sound pretty harsh, but it's true. That does feel like one of your usual unkind ways of putting things. Then I'll give you one of my usual lectures, too. Don't ever put yourself through so much for my sake that you break down again. There's really no point in it in the first place. You're talking like you're completely innocent. I decided that would be an easier way to live. Let it go. I could tell Setsuna was grinding her teeth, out of frustration, and with some happiness too. From that concealed expression, I felt confident that I was acting and speaking as myself. That I could be Haruki Kitahara. Well, he's finally on his way back, which is a good sign for sure. Without Setsuna by my side, I stayed broken. But I think that having her there still kept me broken. Medicine and checkups, the understanding of people around me, effort, and the passage of time. All of these were crucial for me. But in the end, time wound up being the most effective of them all. The fact that Setsuna worked so hard for me that she wore herself out and had to retire partway through. And that she came back today. To Setsuna, it may have seemed like a dramatic change, but for me, it was one process in the course of my long treatment. It wasn't that my symptoms took a turn for the worse once Setsuna left, or that I felt some kind of responsibility for her breakdown and started working harder to overcome this. Setsuna's understanding and support were necessary, but not indispensable. Setsuna's overexertion and withdrawal were bitter, but not lethal. Which is a long roundabout way of saying there's not one path back to happiness and normalcy. So ruining yourself over something like this was, like he said, completely unnecessary. I knew she wouldn't be happy with that, but it had to be that way. It couldn't be any other way. Setsuna wasn't all-powerful. She wasn't Superman. Just my... Hey, Haruki-kun? Yeah? Did you know Kazusa's going to be doing a concert? Wow. Your boyfriend finally recovers from his horrid depression, which was brought about by being abandoned. Abandoned is one word of saying it. By his ex-girlfriend. And the first thing you say after he finally starts looking okay is bringing up that girl. Dumb decision. Yeah, I always read the newspaper, so I know. Are you interested? I mean, of course. If I weren't, I wouldn't have wound up like this. Do you miss her? That's not a very nice question. Then, if her feelings for you were... Hey, Setsuna? Huh? What do you want to do? What do I... Listen, last night, Kazusa and I... Do you really want to put that much stress on me right as I'm finally starting to get better? Stress? No, Stress doesn't just come from harsh, painful things. You heard the same explanation when you went to the hospital with me. Remember? Honestly, this is such an obvious thing. He should not be having to explain it. Why would you bring up Kazusa? Why would you bring up wanting to be with her? On the first day he starts looking better. You are so infuriating sometimes. Promotions, marriage, even wonderful events like those, which are considered life goals, could be as stressful as they were exciting and take a toll on your body. I had been told this since my first diagnostic visit. But what? I'm useless, right? I'm a meaningless existence to you. You always run from extreme to extreme like that. Maybe we should start going to counseling together. Oh, thank God. This is the first time in White Album 2, first time that anybody has ever mentioned counseling or therapy. Thank God. He gets some bonus points for that because that is what I've been saying since the beginning. Then you should have someone meaningful. Someone who can be more helpful than I can. Setsuna. I didn't have all my strength back, physically or mentally, so my appeal was still frail. Even so, Setsuna reacted to my words with a jolt. Had she picked up on the stronger feelings behind what I'd said? If she had, I would be happy. Setsuna, you came straight to me today. We hadn't seen each other in a month, but you didn't even hesitate. Well, that was because you left a note in your apartment. Yeah. For the entire month that you haven't been coming by, I've left a note every time I went out. But that means... Do you think just anyone could see those? It was a message that only one person, the person with a spare key, could get. A call or text might have served the same purpose, but that would have put unnecessary pressure on Setsuna. You believed I would come back? No way, not at all. After I had chased Setsuna out, I had no other way of connecting with her. I hoped you would. Yes, Setsuna was the only one I wanted to connect with. Even if there was no big point to it, even if she wasn't useful, I needed Setsuna. Normal Setsuna. Not all-powerful, but not breaking down on my behalf either. Because I loved her. It was that simple. No. This is the kind of thing I want to get really excited about and like get teary-eyed and think it's so sweet, but like so much has happened up to this point that it just kind of makes me a little bit angry. Like, really? You really think you deserve this? I don't know. She's so dumb sometimes. They kind of deserve each other. Just, my goodness, nobody can move on. They just keep falling in with the same old people and the same old routines. But putting all of the past aside, that is very cute. And I like the note idea. I think that is very sweet. So for now, I think we will stop. But thank you so much for being here with me on this episode of the extra episode from White Album 2. And I'll be back with the next part shortly. So until then, hope you take care. See you.